Have you ever really stopped to think about the engine? It's so much more than just a piece of humming, roaring metal. It's pretty much the literal heartbeat of our modern world. It's this invisible force that powers almost everything we do. So, let's dive into that incredible story, humanity's quest to turn raw energy into world-changing motion.
Just take a second. Try to picture it. A world with no cars, no planes streaking across the sky, no trains. Widespread electricity like we know it? Nope, gone. It would be a static, quiet world. That quiet, that stillness, that's the sound of a world without the engine. And that's the world we're about to leave behind.
For thousands and thousands of years, the only power we could really use was the power of our own muscles, or the muscles of animals we managed to tame. Think about that. Every road, every pyramid, every journey was limited by pure physical strength. But that dream, that itch to harness something bigger, was always there. Our first huge breakthrough came when we realized we didn't have to create power. We could borrow it. The water wheel, the windmill, these were our first real engines. Simple, sure, but the idea behind them was absolutely revolutionary. Take the free-flowing energy of nature and turn it into useful work. That single idea, harnessing an outside force, laid the groundwork for literally everything to come.
Okay, let's jump forward in time to the 18th century. Now, water and wind were fantastic, but they had one massive problem. You had to be right where the energy was. You had to build your mill next to a rushing river or on some windy hill. The world needed power that was reliable, strong, and most importantly, portable. And the answer was steam.
And this is where a single person really changes the game. People had been playing around with steam for a while, but it was an inventor named James Watt whose improvements, right around 1769, finally turned the steam engine from a clunky curiosity into an absolute powerhouse. This wasn't just another invention, it was the spark for a total global transformation.
So, how did this thing actually work? Well, the idea is so simple, it's brilliant. First, you just heat water until it creates a ton of high-pressure steam. Then, you channel that steam to push a piston back and forth. That's it. You're converting heat energy into powerful, consistent mechanical motion.
And the impact? Oh, it was just staggering. All of a sudden, you have trains thundering across entire continents. Factories, no longer tied to rivers, could run 24/7. Huge steamships made conquering the oceans routine. This wasn't just an upgrade. The steam engine literally lit the fuse of the Industrial Revolution.
But here's the thing. Steam engines had their own issues. They were gigantic, incredibly heavy, and took forever to get going. The world needed something smaller, quicker, and more personal. And that next great leap, it came with the internal combustion engine.
And the difference was just night and day. I mean, look at this. You go from a massive, heavy steam engine that needs a long time to warm up to an engine that's compact, light, and starts almost instantly. The power-to-weight ratio was off the charts. This was the key that would finally unlock power from the factory and put it right into our hands.
And it all happens so fast. In 1876, you have Nicholas Otto patenting the first real gasoline engine. Just 10 years after that, Carl Benz sticks one on a cart, and boom, you've got the first automobile. Then a few years later, Rudolf Diesel comes along with his more powerful, more efficient engine. And just like that, the world was on the move.
So as we roll into the 20th century, the whole challenge changes. It wasn't just about creating power anymore. Now, it was a race. A flat-out race to go faster, fly higher, and push the absolute physical limits of speed. The problem wasn't creating motion. It was achieving superhuman motion.
And the answer wasn't a better piston. It was a whole new kind of engine. Developed in the 1940s by pioneers like Frank Whittle, the jet engine basically threw propellers out the window. It just sucks in air, squeezes it, lights it on fire, and blasts it out the back. It's basically a controlled, continuous explosion creating enormous thrust that would change travel and conflict forever.
Okay, just think about that number for a second. 900 kilometers per hour. That's over 550 miles per hour. The absolute fastest prop planes of the era were topping out around 700, and they were straining to do it. All of a sudden, jets weren't just a bit faster, they were flying at speeds that were pure science fiction just years earlier. This wasn't just breaking records, it was shrinking the planet.
And that brings us to today. Our combustion engines remade the world, no doubt about it. But they also created a brand new problem, their impact on our environment. So the quest continues, but this time we're searching for engines that aren't just powerful, but also clean, smart, and can maybe even take us off this world entirely. This just shows you the innovation never, ever stops. Right now, on the ground, the quiet hum of electric cars and efficient hybrids are taking over. But we're also looking up, right? Developing these amazing, almost sci-fi ion and plasma drives for deep space missions, and reusable rocket engines that are finally making space feel, well, accessible.
And this is where science fact starts to get really close to science fiction. I mean, sure, warp drives might still be a dream, but today's most advanced propulsion systems are their direct ancestors. It's all part of that same incredible human ambition to not just explore our own planet, but to one day travel between the stars. So when you really step back and look at it, from that first simple water wheel spinning in a creek, to the giant steam engines that built our cities, to the engine in your car, all the way to a rocket engine tearing a hole in the sky, you realize this was never just a story about machines. It's the story of human ambition made real.
We've built engines that have conquered the land, the sea, and the air. Now we're pushing into space. Each step of the way, a new engine was a solution to the limits of the time. Which really makes you wonder, once we've mastered our world and our solar system, what new problems will we face? What new limits will we need to break? What are the next frontiers for the engine?